Good evening and welcome to the Raw Feed, our first broadcast in the new year. And what a broadcast we have planned. I'm Gary Franchi, and what you're about to witness isn't just another news show. This is a movement, a gathering of patriots who understand that the next 18 days may be the most critical in American history. And yes, you heard that right, just 18 days until Donald Trump's historic return to the White House. But what's happening right now? Well, tonight should send chills down every American spine. And for those who are just tuning in, yes, we're streaming live right now on YouTube to millions worldwide and simultaneously broadcasting on Rumble and X because the truth cannot be contained on just one platform. And here's what's important. While you're watching this, you need to share it right now. Pull out your phone and text this link to everyone you know. Why? Because the algorithms are trying to bury us, but they can't stop direct person-to-person sharing. Now, what makes the Raw Feed different? Well, it's you. That's right, you, our viewers, are part of the show. Between segments, we'll be featuring your super chats and your Rumble rants right on screen for the world to see. Your voice matters, and we are going to amplify it. And for sending those super chats, you get priority. That's right, we're going to make sure your messages get the attention they deserve. Speaking of support, if you believe in what we're doing here, if you believe in real journalism, we need your help to keep the show going. The links to donate are in the description below. Every dollar helps us fight back against the mainstream narrative, and believe me, it's in overdrive right now. And for those of you who want to show their support in style, we have launched our exclusive MAGA Avengers merchandise line at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Limited edition gear that lets everyone know where you stand for the fight for truth. But that's not all. We've also launched our YouTube channel memberships with 3 exclusive tiers, Operative, Commander, and Sentinel level. Each tier comes with its own special perks, including unique chat badges and access to the Next News team. Join now to unlock these exclusive benefits and help us continue our mission. So tonight's show is unlike anything we've covered before. We're tackling a series of events that paints a disturbing picture of what's happening in America right now, from coordinated terror attacks that have rocked our cities to a mysterious White House video that suggests they're preparing for another pandemic. We're going to expose Biden's desperate final moves before Trump's return, including a plan that could throw this country into chaos. And in Congress, a battle is raging for control of the speaker's gavel that could determine the future of Trump's agenda. Between each of these explosive segments, we will be featuring your super chats and your Rumble rants on screen because your reactions and insights, they're part of the story too. You're not just watching the news, you are participating in it. Remember to follow us on Rumble and X, hit those notification bells, and get ready. This is the Raw Feed, and we're just getting started, so stay with us. Explosive revelations are coming up next, and you don't want to miss a single minute of this. Now, let's welcome you to the show. Sal is here in Omaha. We got David and Suzanne and Mitten State Media. Rick Wenzel is here. David is here. Catherine is here as well. The whole crew is here. We got DJ G-Rod and Russell in East Kentucky on his phone. Who else is in the house tonight? We've got Ganny Mead and Christopher Cordero, Dr. Insomnia, Clear Vlerp, Ides of March, I Be Rick, Velvet and Lace 60. We've got Damn It Janet. We got Lisa. We got Catherine, BL and Gary Edwards, Lee Shepard, Texas Treat, Broken Prophet, Lizette 102, Rumblebot, Susan. We've got Skipper Pete's, Alba. Who else is here? We've got Christopher. Sabrina is in the house as well. We got Carlos, Robin Bird, Bobcat, Wyatt Earp. What's up, Wyatt? We got Sinera Frankenstein, Gary Kuda Big Fish Winters in the house in Michigan on his Android. We've got Janice here. We've got Vicky and Texas and Dolly and Ben Danglin in Austin. Monica's here. Jamie M. in North Carolina, waiting for a start of fall, is in the house as well. Dolly and Melinda and Chris and La Walker and Joni. Smoochy is here. Richard and Lawanda. And Joni and Chubba Wubba is in the house too. Who else? We got Ron and Rebel Revere in the house. Who else? Come on. Who else? We've got Marilyn and Kit Kat and Leafian and Drock and Victor in Florida and Philip and David and Roger and Kelly in Ohio. We've got Stephen Maloney. What's up? He's been with us since the freedom of fascism days. What's up? You're an old timer. Nice. We got Armored Anvil, Dr. Insomnia, Barb is here, Heather Beth is here, D-Rock, DeJuric Becker is here, and Kim and Terry. Get on with it, says Terry. All right, you guys want me to get started. I know we got a lot of news to get to tonight, and I'm glad you were here for it. This first segment's going to be a big one because there's just really more going on than I anticipated going into this new year. But that's I've been telling you guys that be prepared for anything, and day one of the new year certainly didn't leave out any surprises. So let's get into it. Good evening, America. What happened on New Year's Day wasn't random, and it wasn't a coincidence. Two military veterans, both from Fort Bragg, both using electric vehicles, both striking on the same day. And the FBI wants you to believe that there's no connection. Well, tonight we're exposing the alarming truth behind these coordinated attacks, the mysterious gunshot wound that preceded the Cybertruck explosion, and why the mainstream media is desperately trying to bury the story. Now, the evidence points to something far more sinister than lone wolf attacks, and it leads straight to the heart of our military institutions. Now, America, your security has been compromised by a system that's failing to protect you. Just like our currency was compromised when Nixon took us off the gold standard, our national security has been undermined by policies that put politics above protection. While the FBI tries to downplay these coordinated attacks, smart Americans are doing what central banks are doing, preparing for the worst. That's why I trust Global Gold Investments to protect my family's future. Call that number on the screen, 888-700-4148, and receive their exclusive, now their 2025 Protect Your Wealth and Security Guide. Get it free. Don't wait for the next attack. Secure your family's future with physical gold. That number, 888-700-4148, or visit IRAGoldproof.com and mention Next News for up to $1,000 in free silver. All right, 20 hours ago, President Trump posted on Truth Social. What did he say? He said, "Our country is a disaster, a laughingstock all over the world. This is what happens when you have open borders with weak, ineffective, and virtually non-existent leadership. The DOJ, FBI, and Democrat state and local prosecutors have not done their job. They're incompetent and corrupt, having spent all their waking hours unlawfully tackling their political opponent, me, rather than focusing on protecting Americans from the outside and inside violent scum that have infiltrated all aspects of our government and our nation itself. Democrats should be ashamed of themselves for allowing this to happen to our country. The CIA must get involved now before it's too late. The USA is breaking down. A violent erosion of safety, national security, and democracy is taking place all across our nation. Only strength and powerful leadership will stop it. See you on January 20th. Make America great again." Donald Trump post from his Truth Social. And there's the picture of the cyber truck that was detonated in front of Trump Tower in Las Vegas. The Vegas PD uncovered the plot twist of a century. Turns out the suspect had a bullet hole in his head before the Cybertruck decided to go full Michael Bay outside of Trump Tower. What's next? Well, we don't know. But it looks like there's a lot of questions. And the FBI says there's no link to the New Orleans and Las Vegas terrorist attacks, despite from Savannah Hernandez. She says both attackers serving the same military base, both renting electric vehicles from Turo, both committing their terrorist attacks on the same day. The more that comes out, the more I am convinced that the link is the FBI, Savannah Hernandez. And now we have this. We know now that the name of the deceased Las Vegas Cybertruck driver is Matthew Livelsberger. Local 9 reports the suspect had a military background. Listen.
I'll step out of the way. Sources confirmed to News 5 that a Colorado Springs man was the driver of a Cybertruck that exploded in front of the Trump International Hotel this morning in Las Vegas. They say 37-year-old Matthew Livelsberger died inside the vehicle. El Paso County records show that Livelsberger has several addresses in our area, and they're now the focus of a federal investigation. FBI agents are at one of his addresses on the east side of the city. That's where we find News 5's Maggie Bryan, who's been there for hours. Maggie, what are you seeing?
Megan, this is about all we can see of this scene right now. I'll step out of the way. You can see some of those flashing lights behind me. Those are coming from a few law enforcement vehicles blocking off the entrance to this townhome complex. Now, this is near Stetson Hills Boulevard and Mark Shuffle Road on the east side of Colorado Springs. Colorado Springs police confirmed to us that FBI agents are here investigating this home. We have learned that Livelsberger is connected to this townhome. Senior law enforcement officials say he lived in Colorado Springs and was the driver of the Cybertruck. Our team has seen agents out here since about 7:30 this evening. We've also been back and forth to the Stetson Hills Police substation about 3 miles down the road, where we've seen a few armored vehicles in the parking lot there. We'll be out here talking with law enforcement and trying to get any more information we can tonight. For now, in Colorado Springs, I'm Maggie Bryan, News 5.
From Colorado Springs, here is the Intel Point Alert FBI investigation underway at Townhouse. Investigation learned through a source the person who rented the truck and drove it to Las Vegas has lived in Colorado Springs, military experience. According to the reporter, citing sources, suspect is 37-year-old Matthew Livelsberger from Colorado Springs. And this appears to be, looks like it might be a LinkedIn. This is his LinkedIn account. Operations Director, Intelligence Manager, Remote Autonomous Systems. SUAS Special Forces Green Beret. Remote Autonomous Systems. Think about that for a second. Okay. We have a Cybertruck that can pretty much drive itself, and it's loaded with fireworks and incendiary devices. And supposedly this man was found inside the vehicle. Now, not just that. We find out, of course, what happened in New Orleans. Virtually the same time, same day, the FBI knew the suspect had a flag and started yesterday by lying to the American people.
This is not a terrorist event. What it is right now is their improvised explosive devices that was found. And we are working on confirming if it's a viable device or not. As Chief Kirkpatrick said, we're asking everyone to stay away from Bourbon Street, specifically from Canal Street to St. Anne. That is my ask. Once again, stay away from Bourbon Street, Canal Street, all the way to St. Anne until we can figure out what is going on. Our goal is to provide you additional information at the 11 a.m. press conference. Thank you so much, and we will be in touch.
Yes, I will say that we want our community and our visitors to continue enjoying. There's so much to enjoy about New Orleans, and we are going to make sure that our routes in the Superdome are safe today for the game, and yet we had this tragic event, and we're sorry again to everyone in our community. But we do want you to go about the day, as we say, just stay away from bourbon, okay?
Look at these DEI hires there in New Orleans. Now, what's interesting is we've got the family of the accused Trump Hotel truck bomber, Matthew Livelsberger, says he was a big Trump supporter. Interesting. The uncle told The Independent that he's confused by the explosion because his nephew could rig a bomb to blow up half of the hotel if he really wanted to do the damage. He used to have all patriotic stuff on Facebook. He was 100% loving the country. He loved Trump and was always a very, very patriotic soldier, patriotic American, and is one of the reasons he was in Special Forces for so many years. It wasn't just one tour of duty. Let's hear how MSN framed this.
This is along. You can see the Cybertruck highlighted there.
So this is he makes one pass, and then I believe, yes.
So through extensive surveillance video, we were able to track him leaving there, and we know that he went to several different places along Las Vegas Boulevard, and he spent some time in a parking lot of a business near Flamingo and Las Vegas Boulevard. We didn't have a video of the truck pulling back onto Las Vegas Boulevard from the sands. See that there? That's north on the boulevard from Sands at 8:39, where he then immediately heads to the Trump Hotel, pulls into the valet area, and as of course you all know, the explosion occurs within 17 seconds of his arrival at the valet. There's some additional investigative updates that are going to be provided to you.
But his family is very confused. They say it doesn't make sense. He had the skills and ability to make something more, let's say, efficient. His skills were enormous from what he'd been taught in the military. He could have fashioned something that would have been obliterate half the hotel if he wanted to really hurt others. And of course, he was in a Tesla Cybertruck, which virtually contained the blast to begin with. And then, the same night, there was a event in New York City, 13 victims at the Amazura nightclub located in Queens, New York. Crime scene set up, unknown condition of the victims. So just mass pandemonium occurring one moment after another. Robbie Starbuck, things just keep getting weirder with this. The sheriff of the Las Vegas Metro Police says the victim of the Cybertruck explosion suffered to the head before the individual sustained. Well, let's just listen.
Went to sleep last night. My name is Kevin McMahill. I'm the sheriff of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, and we are collectively here this morning to give you an update on the Cybertruck explosion at the Trump Hotel on Las Vegas Boulevard yesterday. Our work never stopped. As many of you went to sleep last night, and I just want to give you an update on a lot of what it is that we found through the processing of the Cybertruck. This is a joint investigation involving the FBI, the ATF, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, and these folks worked through the night and found a lot of stuff that is very useful for this investigation. As you look at this Cybertruck here, we had to transport this down to our fleet services so that we could really get through this thing. And I remind you that the subject inside wasn't able to be removed for a very long period of time because he was burnt beyond recognition. And so as we continue to move through this, I'm going to talk a little bit about his identity and what we believe, but I would like to highlight a couple of things that the teams found inside of the Cybertruck that are useful to the investigation. And that, first and foremost, is a military identification. We also found a passport. We found a desert...
Definitive proof, right? Burned beyond recognition. But, hey, they found a passport in the rubble. A familiar story.
50 caliber semi-automatic pistol. And if you'll notice on a lot of these guns that we're going to talk about here, they're almost just burnt beyond recognition as well. There's a SLR model B30 semi-automatic firearm. Number of fireworks that were still in the vehicle that had to be removed. Notably, we found an iPhone and a smartwatch, and then several credit cards were also in the name of our subject. Our subject is 37-year-old Matthew Livelsberger. He's of Colorado Springs, Colorado, born July 22nd of 1987.
Oh, it just keeps getting crazier. Elon Musk says someone or a group turned this guy into you can see what it says on the screen there. We need to find the source of the mind virus. And of course, the media in overdrive, creating their own narrative. Doge designer media headlines are misleading audiences, suggesting the Cybertruck caught fire or exploded due to malfunction. The truth is, explosives were placed in the back and intentionally detonated, likely as part of a terrorist act. Don't fall for the misinformation. Tesla Cybertruck catches fire outside Trump Hotel. Tesla Cybertruck reportedly catches fire outside Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. One dead after Cybertruck explodes outside a Trump Hotel, Las Vegas. One dead after Tesla Cyber... See, like, this is The Guardian, this is the New York Times, Microsoft Network, and something else. Inkle. Yeah. See how they're painting the narrative? Yeah. Holy crap. We also find out that he was a Ukraine soldier recruiter, just like the second Trump would-be assassin. Are Trump assassination attempts connected to these acts of terrorism? Johnny MAGA, holy smokes, the Cybertruck bomber was apparently setting up recently retired special forces guys with contracts to go to Ukraine. Yeah. $550 per day, lodging and travel provided. A quick short-term 30-day contract. I've got a top 18D recently ETSD who's looking for just this opportunity. Send him your way. Elon Musk has deployed a team from Tesla to attempt to recover in-cabin video footage from the Cybertruck, according to the Las Vegas authorities. Once again, doing the FBI's job for them. In-cabin video is not remotely accessible by Tesla without the owner specifically enabling the data.
In the back of the truck,
was in that vehicle, sort of vented out and up, but it didn't even damage the glass doors at the trunk. So I'm not sure what that means. I also know that there's a number of unexploded pieces of the things that he had inside of that vehicle, and so I just don't think that it was done as well as he was expecting it to be done. But go ahead.
Sofia Rodriguez with Univision Vegas. I was wondering, were you able to recover the video from the Cybertruck, or was that destructive?
So the question is, are we able to recover the video from the Cybertruck? And many of you may know that those Cybertrucks contain a tremendous number of cameras. Mr. Musk has sent out a number of his folks that will be arriving here this afternoon with the intent to try to capture the part of that captured all of the video from inside of the truck. Sir?
So we're going to find out. There's going to be more video. Elon Musk posting, the evil knuckleheads picked the wrong vehicle for a terrorist attack. Cybertruck actually contained the explosion and directed the blast upwards. Not even the glass doors of the lobby were broken. And then we have this. The FBI is claiming that both the New Orleans and Las Vegas attackers likely acted alone. However, there are some unbelievable parallels. Both U.S. Army veterans served the Afghan war, stationed at the same base, used Turo car sharing app, and electric trucks. But of course, no connection at all. And speaking of New Orleans, this also happened just a few hours ago. A fire in the New Orleans French Quarter, the cause currently unknown. Locals are particularly concerned about the situation given the fire set at the New Orleans attackers' Airbnb yesterday, according to reports. So another fire. It is unknown if it's related to what happened in New Orleans, but certainly there will be investigations. And this, I think, video clip is probably one of the most telling clips that have surfaced after these attacks. Senator John Kennedy delivers a cryptic response when asked about the possibility of more attacks.
Just a final question here for not just people in Louisiana that are watching, but people coast to coast that are watching tonight. Are you getting the sense that there's any threat of any other potential attacks tonight on any other major cities?
I can't answer that. I can, but I won't.
I cannot answer that. I can, but I won't.
New Orleans safe?
I can't answer that. I can, but I won't.
Is New Orleans safe tonight?
Yes, but we're still in the process of tightening up security. We're still in the process of doing everything that we possibly can. The governor's called out the National Guard. We've got more FBI coming. We've got Homeland Security people. We've got state troopers who've done an awesome job. We've got the NOPD. We're doing everything we can. But like I say, there's a lot of information out there. Some of it's accurate.
Okay.
So he's speaking volumes about the current state of national security. I can, but I won't. Clearly, he knows something. And staying in New Orleans for now, New Orleans terror attack suspect Shamsud Din Jabbar apparently intended to kill his family, but was concerned media attention wouldn't be focused on the war between believers and disbelievers. The FBI says he posted multiple videos online. Here are some of the latest developments.
The FBI team and our law enforcement partners here are also reviewing hundreds of hours of surveillance and other video from both the French Quarter and other locations. As for a timeline, at this point, investigators believe Jabbar picked up the rented F-150 in Houston, Texas on December 30th. He then drove from Houston to New Orleans on the evening of the 31st, and he posted several videos to an online platform proclaiming his support for ISIS. There were 5 videos posted on Jabbar's Facebook account, which are time-stamped beginning at 1:29 a.m. and the last at 3:02 a.m. In the first video, Jabbar explains he originally planned to harm his family and friends, but was concerned the news headlines would not focus on the, quote, war between the believers and the disbelievers, end quote. Additionally, he stated he had joined ISIS before this summer. He also provided a will and testament.
Now, I want everyone to be totally aware that these events could be used to amplify the police state measures, the surveillance state. And there's already calls for that now. And one of my big concerns is as we go into the inauguration, and we already know that there's going to be mass roundups for deportation. What's to say that Biden doesn't issue some emergency power and some surveillance power gets extended into that? And now there's justification that's being amplified by the media to lock down our freedoms. This is what we need to be fully and acutely aware of at this moment. Okay, so every narrative that's being pushed by the media has to be questioned, like we always do. Because the media and the authorities are 95% wrong all the time. There's an agenda. We know the FBI has been politicized and it's been weaponized against President Trump. What's to say? I mean, we are just, 18 days from the inauguration? Come on, guys. Las Vegas police, Cybertruck bomber. We also discovered through the coroner's office the individual had sustained a gunshot wound prior to the detonation of the vehicle. One of the handguns was found at his feet. Some question that perhaps the way that the vehicle was detonated was by the actual initiation of the gunshot itself. It's still unclear. Also, what happened today? How crazy is this? A portion of I-85 in Greenville County, South Carolina was closed due to a reported bomb threat involving a large truck. That was just 4 hours ago. And then there was this guy. Chilling timing. FBI's record bomb bust comes as terror hits U.S. cities Mariona Fall. FBI found 150 plus explosives at Brad Spafford's Virginia farm, including pipe bombs marked lethal. The suspect told neighbors he was preparing for something that he would not be able to do alone. And here are photographs of some of the elements that were found in Virginia. And then on top of it all, suspicious vehicle at the Capitol building 10 hours ago.
News Fort midday. Hey there, this is Joseph Omo with NBC4. We are right outside of the Capitol, and you see all of those flashing police lights over there, the firefighters, the ambulances. Capitol Police just tweeted out about 15 minutes ago that they are investigating a suspicious vehicle. That is all we know, but they are pushing the perimeter out. You can see officers over here closing off the walkways to 3rd Street Northwest here as they continue this investigation. We're going to keep you updated, and we're going to have a live report on News Fort midday at 11 o'clock in about half an hour.
One thing after another. All the media does is lie. Here's a meme that was posted. Blame the truck, right? Just like those headlines I read to you. But here's another curious element about Matthew Livelsberger. Now, his family said that he was a Trump supporter. They always say that, right? When it's convenient for the narrative. Matthew Livelsberger's ex-wife, however, Sarah, is an avid social democrat Bernie Sanders supporter who believes Trump is white ISIS for restrictions on immigration from some Muslim countries, that many billionaires are shitbags. Sarah Livelsberger with the deceased, sharing Bernie Sanders posts on her Facebook. This billionaire explains it better than I have ever tried to. Probably because he's a billionaire. Here she is saying Trump equals white ISIS. Brilliant. And she is sharing a clip from The Daily Show from 2015. Here's the headline from the Washington Post blaming the truck for what that person did. Truck rams New Orleans crowd. That's the headline. Matt Kim. Okay, this reiterates what I said. Tread carefully as the narrative thickens to call a U.S. citizen a terrorist because of the next logical step is mass surveillance of American social profiles, histories, and communications to make sure this never happens again. And it's all for your safety, of course, right? Before you know it, we are in another war in the Middle East with Patriot Act 2.0 and beefed up DHS. I understand people's anger and concern given limited facts and heavy propaganda. Pray for wisdom, patience, and discernment. It's only the first day of 2025. That was posted 24 hours ago. And remember what they said with all the drones in New Jersey? What was going on with that? They wanted more surveillance power for the drones. They were going to enact legislation. Remember that? Seems to line up. And then we have this. Going back to what happened in New Orleans. A flag in the back of the truck. Sarah Adams specifically said the next attacks will be ISIS, Al-Qaeda combined, focusing on ground mass casualty. We were all warned of this by Sarah Adams. This clip has gone viral, and we need to be paying very close attention to what she's saying. Listen.
We do it Monday, we do it Tuesday, bombers are going to be Al-Qaeda. Their types are going to be ISIS because then if they're caught, change basically some of their movements in the hotel.
How many people, how many fighters do you think we can expect in each attack?
Well, the 1,000 is all of them. So we're calling it's an Al-Qaeda planned attack, but within those 1,000 terrorists, some of them are ISIS because they want ISIS to be blamed. I think the more of the fighter types are going to be ISIS because then if they're caught, then they talk. I'm ISIS. I think more of the suicide bombers are going to be Al-Qaeda.
You think these attacks will happen simultaneously throughout the United States, or will they be one day here, next day here, another one over here next week?
So they want them coordinated. I don't know if coordinated means all at the same time, or if coordinated means we do it Monday, we do it Tuesday, we do it Wednesday, we do it Thursday, we do it Friday, just do 5 straight days. But they want it coordinated.
What kind of places do you think they're going to target?
So this is what's complicated. So Al-Qaeda's preference, as you can imagine, is symbols of the U.S. or anything that causes economic damage, right? So Capitol is a great symbol. I feel like bridges or any kind of public transportation always matters because it puts costs against us and it causes fear. But here's where it gets complicated. So remember, the terrorists might have their goal is they're going to attack the metro in D.C., right? But remember, some of these terrorists are going to be ISIS. And remember, they can change location. So the ISIS guy might go down the metro and say, there's not many people down here. I'll kill 20, but there's a event going on. I'm going to go up there, right? Because ISIS is a little different. ISIS just wants mass casualty. In my opinion, terrorists in general just leaving Afghanistan, a lot of them are coming up through the Darien Gap to the border. And there was a big push, right? Get in the U.S. while you can. Now, not all those Al-Qaeda's attackers, right? But they came in with fake Afghan passports. They came in with fake Syrian passports, fake Turkish passports. Those are the 3 preferences because they're easiest to get. And then, if our Border Patrol agents, a lot of them haven't been overseas, right? If an Egyptian shows up at the border with a Syrian passport, is he going to know that person was Egyptian? I mean, his passport says Syrian, right?
Now, to be clear, these people were U.S. Army veterans who were radicalized. Representative Mike Waltz, incoming National Security Advisor, says Trump's cabinet picks need to be in place on day one. Pete Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard, Kash Patel, and Kristi Noem all need to be confirmed quickly. Our national security is at risk. You see what's happening here? A heightened sense of terror is accelerating through Washington, D.C.
Both veterans. What is it that you're going to be looking for as the feds start to give us more information?
Well, number one, that external plotting versus internal radicalization, how that happened. Number two, I find it an amazing coincidence, but I don't think it is a coincidence that you had two attacks renting from the same site, both veterans, that you could have a more radicalized and broader cell. Don't forget, you also had an Afghan that was stopped from making election day attacks. So this is why getting President Trump's cabinet in is so important. We need Governor Noam at DHS. We need Kash Patel at FBI. We need Pete Hegseth at DOD. This is an across the government look. Marco Rubio at State, and of course Ratcliffe at CIA, and Tulsi Gabbard at DNI. That has to be in place day one, guys, because this is a moment in transition of vulnerability, and President Trump is going to project. Because he is a leader of strength. The narrative that we project on day one will be just important, and that's having our people in place.
Here's some video from that event in Greenville. I-85, Greenville County, South Carolina, is closed both directions due to a bomb threat involving an 18-wheeler. Police are asking citizens to avoid the area in the coming hours. CNN reports the Cybertruck driver involved in the hotel was a master sergeant serving with the 10th Special Forces Group.
And he was on. Haley has confirmed in just the last few minutes that he is an active duty U.S. Special Forces soldier assigned to 10th Special Forces Group, according to 4 U.S. officials, that he holds the rank of Master Sergeant, a senior enlisted rank, these officials said. 3 officials said he was on active duty serving in Germany, and he was on leave when this happened on New Year's Day. He has not been identified publicly, and authorities are still trying to work out whether this was a terrorist attack. Now, just to recap a little bit of what happened behind us just 24 hours ago, approximately, there are still police presence here around the valet area of where you pull into the Trump International Hotel just off of the Vegas Strip. This Cybertruck that he allegedly rented was rented from Colorado from the Turo rental platform. Authorities say that he drove it here to Las Vegas by 7:30 a.m. on New Year's Day, that he drove up and down the Strip, and then about an hour before the explosion drove past the Trump Hotel as well. And police did make note that the damage was really limited because of the body construction of this Tesla Cybertruck. Haley.
And then we have this. New Orleans District Attorney Jason Williams is calling for, ready for this? Here it is. Jason Williams is calling for more UK-like surveillance in the aftermath of the attack. The United Kingdom has used mass CCTV cameras to implement state-like surveillance of its citizens. Here we go. Here comes the narrative.
Country. How we handle things are going to have to change. Just after 9/11, I remember a time when I could run from my car to the gate to catch a flight. After 9/11, we realized we need to do things very, very differently so that we can all arrive at our destination safely. I think you're going to see a lot of things change in the city of New Orleans. And actually, I think you're going to see a lot of things change in this country in terms of how we handle large-scale events, where there's pedestrian access and where vehicles are allowed. I think you're going to see things change in terms of the level of surveillance that we have in this country. We've pushed back against some of that. But when you look at places like the UK and other European places where CCTV is very commonplace and used proactively so that it can look for signs or indications of an attack, I think you're going to start seeing those things in this city because I'm going to be pushing for them. And you're going to probably see them in a lot of other places that are destination cities like the city of New Orleans.
Jason, will you be going to the game tonight? And do you think that it was the right call to give a deadline, essentially, to this investigation?
Things are going to have to change.
Things are going to have to change. The FBI, 10 hours ago, conducted a call with House and Senate Homeland Security committees in which there were 3 takeaways. Shamsud Din Jabbar was inspired by ISIS but not directed by them. There was zero intel on Jabbar before the attack, and they now believe that he acted alone.
Told Fox News. Hosni is live on Capitol Hill with the very latest. Hi there, Aisha.
Hi, Julie. We're just getting some new information from this FBI phone call that was ongoing with House and Senate members of the Homeland Security Committees, as well as the Louisiana delegation. And I can tell you that something that they've learned, this is according to sources that were on this call that just told Fox News, that something that they just learned was that apparently the FBI is claiming that they had no intelligence on Jabbar before this attack. They had zero intelligence on him. It appears to be so that they were not tracking him. Also, the FBI told these members that he was, quote unquote, inspired by ISIS, but they do not have evidence to lead them to believe that he was directed by ISIS. They're still looking into that, but so far they told members today that he was inspired by this terrorist organization, not necessarily exactly directed by this terrorist organization. Again, these two big headlines coming out of this phone call as members are trying to wrap their heads around how this could have happened. They were briefed by the assistant director of the FBI's counterterrorism division, David Scott, and they've got a lot of questions, other questions specifically about what went wrong in New Orleans with security preparations, those bollards we've been talking about for the last 24 hours. They weren't functioning at the time. That allowed the suspect to drive onto Bourbon Street. But again, more widely speaking, is there a risk for more attacks? Are there other people involved? And I believe we're going to find out from the FBI here at a few moments that they believe that perhaps there were not other people involved, or at least so far that's what they think. This is what Senator John Kennedy told me last night when I tried to ask him that very question. What does he think is going on here? Listen here.
I can't answer that. I can't answer that, but I shouldn't. I'm going to say it again, Aisha. We're giving the FBI and Homeland Security a reasonable amount of time to do their job. And by God, they're going to do their job, and they're going to catch these people. And we're going to know a whole lot more in the next 48 hours.
Again, we're going to find out a little bit more in this upcoming FBI briefing, Julie. But again, I can tell you two things coming out of this phone call with members is that the FBI is claiming they had no intelligence on Jabbar before the attack, and that they believe that Jabbar was inspired by ISIS, not necessarily actively directed by the terrorist organization. More to come as soon as I find out. Julie.
Yeah, more to come. FBI would have never admitted that this was an ISIS attack in New Orleans had random people not taken photos of the flag and uploaded it to social media. Here's a meme for you.
This is, first of all, we do know that the city of New Orleans was impacted by a terrorist attack.
A few moments later.
This is not a terrorist event. What it is right now is their improvised explosive devices that was found. And we are.
Yeah, which one is it, right? Now, check this out. Okay. This is 2 minutes away from the individual's house. Let's see. This is, he lived 2 minutes away from a mosque, apparently. You can see must be a billboard there, or that must be the actual sign for one of the individuals there. It says, CT investigators tell me they're following leads. The Bourbon Street terrorist was radicalized by a mosque in North Houston that actively converts inmates inside the Texas Department of Corrections. And they believe that he recently traveled to the Brotherhood headquarters in Cairo. That's from Paul Sperry reporting that fact. And Luke Rudkowski making a point, not suspicious at all, as Las Vegas police officers identify the suspect by a military ID and guess what? A passport that was found in the vehicle because the body was burned beyond recognition. Law enforcement sources have confirmed Matt Livelsberger, Colorado Springs, was the Trump Las Vegas Cybertruck bomber. Here is a picture, and apparently this is, he had a curious pro-Ukrainian t-shirt on in that. in that photograph. And the Capitol Police reportedly responding to a suspicious vehicle. We told you about that as well. And extra security has now been beefed up at Trump Tower, Chicago, as of 5 p.m. And on top of that, nothing to see here, just another significant piece of American infrastructure miraculously burning down again, this time an oil refinery in Texas, but the list keeps growing. The only logical conclusion one can make is America is under attack from within. So an oil refinery is burning in Texas at the same time. And then there was this, I mean, I don't know if these are all connected. I mean, this is just the chaos that we're opening the year with, right? Plane crashes into a commercial warehouse near Fullerton Airport in Fullerton, California. Casualties reported. Fire department operating with a 4-alarm response. So this was near an airport. It could have just been a pilot error. But, combine it with the oil refinery fire. God knows what's going on here. Dr. Shannon Croner, a friend of mine, this is getting way more convoluted. Did he do something to himself and then detonate, or did someone do it to him, place him in the car, and set the car to drive to the hotel? Cameras everywhere, and valet staff would have seen or heard the shots. And Jack Posobiec pointing out that in New Orleans, at 6 a.m. in New Orleans, officers found an explosive device near the cathedral in the French Quarter. They discovered 2 devices and safely detonated them both. So devices were planted around the cathedral there. Patriot Voice, do not allow the Mockingbird fake news media or politicians to gaslight you into thinking there is a Muslim problem which we need to go to war in the Middle East to solve. Keep that in mind as the narrative develops. It seems like the events were planned to bring in a surveillance state, but surely that can't be the case, Salty Goat says. And then there was this in Austin, Texas. MJ Truth Ultra, shots fired at Lakeline Mall in Austin, Texas. Police asked the public to stay clear of the area. This was just 3 hours ago. And as more information became available, it appears as this was just a dispute, some thugs in the food court, but just more chaos. Mindy Robinson, she says it's become clear the Tesla Cybertruck explosion in Vegas was an act of pro-leftist terrorism, whether the fake news media wants to admit it or not. It wasn't just loaded with fireworks. It was loaded with all kinds of explosives and combustibles. So it couldn't have just been an accident. There's a symbolism of Elon. This is a great take. And this is the first thing I thought of when I heard about this. A Cybertruck and Trump's hotel, right? The symbolism of Elon's Tesla truck exploding in front of the Trump Tower. Luckily, whoever got the plan didn't figure out how these trucks are built and how it was probably the worst vehicle to try to do an attack with, which is good news for everyone around it, except for the driver inside. She says, speaking of, you want me to believe a tech-savvy Green Beret who specialized in drones was this bad at making an IED and managed to blow himself up as well in the process? Your average redneck could have done better. And where's the security video of what happened right before? Authorities were pretty quick to release what happened during and after. Was this guy already dead? Was he with anyone beforehand? Is anyone with authority actually going to do any real investigating, or should we file it under Las Vegas as an attack? The government covered up because one way or another they had a hand in it. Let's see what the CNN port she
was clear to also revealed what was inside the truck, explosives that included fireworks, gas tanks, and camping fuel, and authorities believe that that was connected to a detonation system controlled by the driver. We're also hearing this same sentiment from Elon Musk, who tweeted out that they have now confirmed that the explosion was caused by very large fireworks and or a bomb carried in the bed of the rented Cybertruck and is unrelated to the vehicle itself. So he was clear to say that this was not an issue with the Cybertruck. And the sheriff also earlier said that they are checking for secondary devices. They're investigating many different leads, but he was clear to say that there does not appear to be any further threat to the...
Any further threat. The suspect in yesterday's attack, according to Right Angle News, suspect in yesterday's attacks on Bourbon Street in New Orleans and Trump Tower in Vegas both served at Fort Bragg, the same military base that Ryan Ralph visited over 100 times before attempting to take Donald Trump's life. Now, there's a lot of people saying that Ralph visited the same military base I'm not sure if that's in fact true or not. But you know what's even crazier? Here's what just doesn't make any sense to me. Makes no sense to me. I'm going to get to this guy's clip here in a second, but look at this. This was posted. This is the New York Post. They got an exclusive tour of the New Orleans terrorist home, where they found bomb-making station and a Quran open to a chilling passage about martyrdom. Now, can someone tell me, on what planet do they allow news crews in to an active crime scene? This makes no sense. You want to see this? Oh, it's bizarre. I mean, it's almost as if they're bringing the cameras in to set up this narrative and document it all.
We are here inside the New Orleans terrorist home. You can see that it's been clearly destroyed, the door at least, from the FBI raid yesterday. But if we walk through the home, we see some signs of what he was up to. He had this work area here, lots of different chemicals splayed around, and different electronics. This is, again, a work setup. Left receipts, just very unkempt in here. If we go over here, actually, you can see the Department of Justice documents here, the search warrant, and the property that they recorded here, which seems to be a lot of chemicals. Again, just left in disarray.
I think this is Jenny Terr. She's the one from the New York Post that's doing this tour. It's as if she just left her yoga class to go and tour this facility. Hey, get Janie out of her yoga class. We got to send her down there.
There's a bedroom back here, and what appears to be his collection of religious materials, his Qurans, an open Quran with a passage there, as well as even the Bible here, but mostly books on Islam, and his prayer rug just to the left of me here. And if we go back, there's another bedroom here. You can see he left all these belongings, contact lenses, personal belongings, his bathroom. This seems to be some sort of workspace, again, with other chemicals here. The light's still on, some kind of station set up here. We're not really sure what that was for. In, what we can assume was also a bedroom. You can see clothes left here, and just a sign that someone was here up until those last few moments when neighbors said he left just before the New Year's holiday, saying he was done with his lease, it was up, and he was on his way to New Orleans where he would live there. Didn't take any furniture because he said his new home would be furnished. That's all we know so far.
I don't know, man. This whole thing stinks. Rocco's girl says that the man for Las Vegas, the wife, was an avid Trump hater. In an old Facebook comment, she wrote, "I followed Donald Trump's Twitter just to get my morning motivation to do something horrible." Former Secret Service agent has a pretty bad feeling about what's happening right now.
Okay. I'm a retired Secret Service agent, and I think I know a thing or two about protection and how to get through life safely. I protected presidents for 25 years, and unfortunately, I have a pretty bad feeling about what's happening right now. If you take a close look at this early morning hours event that took place down in Louisiana, and then over later, a few hours later, in Nevada, I don't believe in coincidences. Okay, you might. I don't. I think you should do yourself a favor and check out Sarah Adams. Sean Ryan's interviewed her several times, and she's been talking about what's coming our way in 2025. And if what she's talking about is what just happened, they wasted no time. Get it? You should Be ready to protect yourself and defend yourself and your family. I'm not saying live in fear and be a hermit, but when you go out, for God's sake, pay attention to what's going on around you. Unfortunately, I think it's here.
I think it's here. Lovely.
I'm a retired Secret Service.
Another oddity in the midst of oddities. Has anyone ever heard of the media being given access to a crime-related scene, especially for a terrorist? Yeah, that makes no sense. The family of the Las Vegas attacker claims he was a Trump fan. And yes, one day after the event, a reporter is allowed to stroll through the house on a tour. Just casual walking through the house. So many wild things are happening. We got the plane crash. We've got the oil refinery fire. We've got the shooting in New York. We've got Trump Tower in Chicago, amplified security, Capitol Police responding to suspicious vehicles. Everybody's on high alert. This guy apparently went to Cairo. I mean, it's a lot to keep track of here. FBI supposedly looking into it. Calls for amplified surveillance in the United States. An 18-wheeler truck threat. Shutting down the highways. Calls for immediate instatement of Donald Trump's team. We have Sarah Adams' warning that's coming to pass. The Washington Post and the mainstream media all pushing false narratives. Blame the truck, right? Blame the truck. We got this guy in Virginia with 150 plus explosives. Totally separate, totally not related, supposedly. The guy in the Las Vegas event, recruiting people for Ukraine, just like Wesley Routh. We got the fire in the French Quarter, post-attack in New Orleans. We got this cryptic message from Senator Kennedy. I can speak to it, but I won't. So this is only, what, day two? Day two of the new year. So keep your head on a swivel, folks. Keep your head on a swivel. So here's what's becoming clear. The FBI's narrative is crumbling. Both attackers served at Fort Bragg, both used Turo rentals, both struck on the same day and had mysterious connections to foreign interests. The real question we need to ask isn't whether these attacks are connected, it's who orchestrated them. Why is the FBI so desperate to label these as isolated incidents, and what do they know that they're not telling us? Share your thoughts in the comments below. While you're standing strong for truth, show your support with our exclusive MAGA Avengers gear. It's at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Make sure you gear up, because you never know what's coming down the pipe. All right, folks, we have quite a bit of super chats that just came in. I need to send a quick message to somebody. Okay. Segment 1 is done. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's take a look at some of the super chats real quick before we get to our next topic, which is also just as crazy with what's going on at the White House, what they just published on YouTube, raising a lot of questions. So I want you guys, don't go anywhere. Very important segment coming next here. Okay, our health. Wow. Oh my. Holy cow. Okay. Jeff and Houdini, Black Labs Matter, $2. Thank you for that. We also have our health. The guns are burnt beyond recognition. But the passport wasn't. Yeah, exactly. Right? Exactly. And then we have F. Joe Biden. Do a deep dive in this guy. Think about everything that's going on today. Our health. 911 passport psyop all over again. F. Joe Biden, $5. First place of the PSYOP, Fort Bragg, coincidence? Another one from F. Joe Biden saying the alleged Trump tower bomber, his signal number and profile were changed just before and just after he was dead. You know what? I saw that and I didn't quite understand what that meant. So thank you for clarifying that. What's up, Guardian? Dropping $20. Appreciate that. Hello to you. And Dejerk Becker, $5. Thank you. Saying, remember when an undamaged ID was found a block away from the Twin Towers? Sound familiar? Exactly. All too coincidental, right? Okay, let's get to what was just published by the White House. Well. Everyone is talking about this now. Ladies and gentlemen, the White House just did something that should terrify every American who remembers 2020. They have mysteriously re-uploaded a video from January of 2021 showing masked Americans with the ominous message, "The time to move forward is now." But that's not all. Suddenly, Fauci, Birx, and their cohorts are back on TV warning about bird flu and pushing for new mandates. The timing, just weeks before Trump's inauguration, isn't just suspicious, it's calculated. And tonight we have exclusive information about what this really means for your freedom. And if we face a potential return to mask mandates and lockdowns, Americans need to focus on strengthening their national defenses. The globalists don't want you to know this, but after age 20, your body's collagen production drops dramatically by 12% each decade. And this decline leaves you vulnerable, just as their policies have left America vulnerable. But there's hope. This revolutionary collagen formula, I trust, combines 5 essential types of collagen to boost your body's natural resilience. Don't let fear tactics weaken you. Visit healthwithgary.com and get 51% off plus free VIP health coaching for life. Take control of your health before they try to take it from you. Okay, so what happened? I couldn't believe this, but it happened. The White House decided to post this. A weird, dark, move forward video on their YouTube channel showing tons of people in masks while saying things like, "It's time to trust." Yeah, it's a re-upload from 2021. Why would they post this? I mean, who wants to remember these moments? Who wants to even relive this time? Time to love, time to recover, time to lead, time to engage, time to listen, time to adapt, time for hope, time to develop, time to bless, time to encourage and create, support, innovate, reconcile, inspire, work. Yeah, time to move forward. Now, this was posted just a few hours ago. And the original time that it was posted was right after Biden's inauguration. But why now? Why would you go ahead and post that again? And the only thing I can think of is connecting to what we have been covering in the last couple of weeks with this new hysteria. CNN leading the charge, of course. The globalist fear machine is cranking up again. CNN now pushing bird flu hysteria, claiming we are one mutation away from human-to-human transmission. This is how they set the stage. Control through fear, panic, and submission. Do not fall for it. Listen.
Thank you, Jim. There are new concerns tonight as bird flu continues to spread. A week ago, California declared a state of emergency after a mass infection of dairy cattle there. In Washington state, where cases have been on the rise, more than half of the big cats at one wildlife sanctuary died after contracting the virus. Even more concerning, it is unclear exactly how they got bird flu. Joining me now, Director for the Center for Infectious Disease Research and Policy at the University of Minnesota, the epidemiologist Michael Osterholm. Good to speak to you again, sir. Thanks so much for joining.
Thank you, Jim. Good to be with you.
As far as we know at this point, bird flu has not made the jump of going from human to human. People have contracted the virus from animals. I wonder how far away we are from that possibility. Are we just, in effect, one mutation away from human to human transmission?
Well, Jim, let me just be really clear here that, this is not rocket science, this flu work. It's actually a lot more complicated. We don't know. And anyone that tells you they do know, you have to be very careful. What we do know is, of course, flu viruses continue to change. They mutate. This particular H5N1 virus has been doing this really since 1996 when it first showed up in China, caused an outbreak in Hong Kong in 97. And what most people don't realize is this was killing cats way back in 2003 and 4. One of the zoos in Thailand lost over 100 large cats because they were fed culled poultry that had died from H5N1. And so we've been seeing this for a long time in cats. What's changed, though, is in the last 2 years, a new strain of this H5N1 has emerged that has caused a lot of additional infections in mammal species that we'd not seen this before, over 50. And of course, as you're well aware, the dairy side of the house now has also contributed substantially to this, which we had never seen before. So we don't know where we're at right now with this virus. There will be more influenza pandemics. Is this the one that's going to cause it? We don't know.
There will be more, he says. And what about this? Libs of TikTok posted this just 6 hours ago. The CDC has an entire zombie pandemic preparedness packet. The story about zombies to warn about pandemics. Not kidding, it was created a while ago. However, a source on an army base told me she received it today in her inbox from Chain of Command. Zombie pandemic being distributed now. And we have this post a day ago. China declared a state of emergency as epidemic overwhelms hospitals and crematoriums. Multiple viruses, including influenza A, HMPV, mycoplasma pneumonia, and COVID-19 are spreading rapidly across China. Now, this is not confirmed. I want to make that very clear. There's some context that was added. It says there's no information to back up the claim that China has declared a state of emergency over epidemics overwhelming the hospitals and crematoriums. So, but it's posted, and I want to bring it to your attention. And then we have this 8 hours ago. Daily Mail, face mask mandates return to multiple states as doctors warn of quademic of 4 viral infections. Daily Mail posting this 8 hours ago. Now, I wasn't aware of this. Now you're going to be made aware of this. About what was actually in that spending bill. Mask mandates, and more.
I mean, did you hear that, Speaker Mike Johnson? This is what it looks like when I dig my heels in. Did you hear what was in that spending bill? Vaccine mandates, mask mandates, vaccine passports, expanded emergency powers, and gain-of-function research. That is so 2020. I mean, as his employer, what do we think about that? No. So I just want to let you know, if you're listening, Supreme Leader Johnson, that I, for one, am not doing that.
I did not know that was packed into that spending bill. But now you know. Daily Mail, this is the headline. Face mask mandates return to multiple states as doctors warn a quademic over 4 viral infections. The White House publishing this strange video on YouTube. But you know what's interesting is that video was posted the day after Biden took his oath to take over the White House on January 21st. And coincidentally, this guy here, we've played this guy a couple times already, Peter Hotez. He says the date of January 21st is where a lot of things, viruses, are coming. I don't know. Is it a coincidence?
On the western part. Here's the reason why we need to care about this stuff, Nicole, is that we have some big picture stuff coming down the pike starting on January 21st. Mr. Bloomberg mentioned H5N1. That I'm really worried about. It's all over wild birds on the western part of the United States and going up in the north. It's getting into the poultry. We're seeing sporadic human cases, no human-to-human transmission yet, but that could happen. It's in the cattle. It's in the milk. And that's just the beginning. We have another major coronavirus likely brewing in Asia. We've had SARS in 2002, SARS-2, COVID-19 in 2019. And we know these viruses are jumping from bats to people thousands of times a year. But there's still more. We know that we have a big problem with mosquito-transmitted viruses all along the Gulf Coast, where I am here in Texas. So we're expecting dengue and possibly Zika virus coming back, or a Puche virus, maybe even yellow fever. And there's more. Then we have all this sharp rise in vaccine preventable.
Is it a to-do list here?
You can pause it by now.
So this video, he's warning about January 21st, and Joe Biden's White House publishes the video that they publish on January 21st after he took the oath of office. And as this is all happening, we have Dr. Fauci, Dr. Birx, and Dr. Wu all back just in time for the inauguration. Our bird flu lockdowns incoming.
And we know it can. Now, let me tell you the sobering news. The sobering news is that can change because the virus infects more than one species, and we know it can infect pigs. Pigs are on farms with chickens and with cows, and chickens and cows can infect with their virus a pig, and then a human virus can go into pig, and then you could get a reassortment of a virus that has some of the dangerous qualities of H5N1 and some of the capability of spreading from human to human of a human virus. So that's what public health officials are concerned about, that when you have the circulation of this virus in multiple species, including a mixing bowl species like a pig, you might get a reassortment and a mutation that could make this something we really have to be concerned about. And that's the reason why the CDC says, although currently the risk in general is low, we still have to pay close attention to the possibility that might change.
I don't know how that guy is still walking as a free man, but hopefully that will change when Donald Trump joins the White House again. Oh, and then we have this woman again.
We've already seen this year that there have been a number of mammalian species close to humans that now have bird flu.
Dr. Lena Wen, former Baltimore Health Commissioner.
That there have been a number of mammalian species close to humans that now have bird flu outbreaks. We have outbreaks in poultry in all 50 states. 16 states have outbreaks in cattle. In California, in the last 30 days, there have been more than 300 herds that tested positive. And now we have 66 cases of bird flu in humans. And this is almost certainly a significant undercount because we have not been doing nearly enough testing. So we really don't know the extent of bird flu that's out there in humans. We've already seen this year that there have been a number of mammalian species close.
And then this one.
From what you're laying
Dr. Birx is back.
It sounds like it doesn't. It sounds like from what you're laying out, you don't think this country has learned from the COVID pandemic.
Our
and there's not a sense of urgency right now.
Our agencies are making the same mistakes they made with COVID. The number 2 principle of pandemic is detect. And the only way to detect for viruses is to test. You cannot see a virus through symptoms. You miss so many cases. Yet we're still talking about flu-like illness.
I mean, the cast of characters is back, my friends. I mean, the fact that Daily Mail's publishing face mask mandates are returning as a quad-demic. The White House publishing the strange video. The final message of the video, it's time to move forward, is now. Who is this message for? 18 days until January 20th. Y'all be careful out there and get your emergency supplies in order. Here we go again. Same cast of characters pushing for more control. Fauci, Birx, and now Wu. Let's not forget the damage from last time. No more lockdowns. Trump must resist this agenda. Dr. Peter Hotez using the date of January 21st to say we have lots of things viruses coming down the pike. Bird flu lockdowns, are they coming? This woman, Chinese-born, Dr. Lena Wen, just called on Biden immediately authorizing bird flu vaccines and distribute millions of doses ASAP. Yep. Power grab. Illinois Review. We published this a couple days ago. Illinois Review stating mask mandates returning in New York, New Jersey, and California despite recent pandemic report. This feels like a confirmation that they're planning another one. Here's the post. When I saw it originally, it only had about 9,000 views. Nobody's paying attention to it on YouTube, but it certainly has gone viral on X. People are paying attention. How to interact with someone who falls for it again? Yeah, there's a nice meme for you. So, friends, and they got this zombie pandemic being a whole preparedness packet being sent out from the CDC to army bases. Wow. So the pattern's unmistakable. Same players who locked you down in 2020. Looks like they're positioning themselves for round two in the CDC zombie preparedness guide, the sudden return of Fauci, the mysterious White House video. It's all orchestrated, but here's what they didn't count on. Americans are awake now. We see through their fear tactics. So the real question is, why are they so desperate to reimpose control right before Trump's return to power? What are they planning for on January 21st? Drop your theories in the comments. And speaking of staying strong, our new MAGA Avengers collection has launched at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Gear up and let them know where you stand. All right. We got one super chat that just came through here from Chris. What up, Chris? $2. Thank you. Can't stand her CCP voice. All right. Oh, yes. And then so much more is happening, too. The grand betrayal of the Biden administration as he leaves office. Unbelievable. But wait till you hear, okay? Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Let's see, where's that post? Here it is. Okay. All right, Brian, let's rock and roll. Tonight, we're exposing Biden's scorched earth exit strategy, and that's putting every American at risk. While he hands out medals to the very people who tried to destroy Trump, his team is plotting for something far more sinister. A military strike on Iran that could plunge us into war just days before Trump's inauguration. But that's not all. They're using a 72-year-old law to permanently ban offshore drilling, crippling our energy independence. The depth of this betrayal is staggering, and the timing is no coincidence. With Biden's policies sending blood pressure through the roof across America, it's crucial to protect your health during these stressful times. And just as Biden's betrayals are threatening our nation's well-being, high blood pressure threatens yours. That's why I trust this revolutionary formula that's helping Americans take control of their heart health naturally. This triple action supplement helps regulate blood pressure, supports healthy cholesterol, and aids weight management, exactly what you need as we weather this political storm. Visit boostwithgary.com now and get up to 40% off. Take charge of your health while we take back our country. So this was the big story today, at least one of them. So many. Betrayal. In recognition of her betrayal of the Republican Party and President Trump, Biden is awarding disgraced Representative Liz Cheney the Presidential Citizen Medal. Yeah. Liz Cheney getting an award. Maybe the pardon's next. And then we got this creepy video from Nancy Pelosi. Nothing bizarre, but there's something very bizarre about Pelosi. Or haven't you noticed?
In Congress. Hi, it's Nancy. I'm on my way to Washington to proudly represent the people of San Francisco in Congress. I'm honored to do so, to share our San Francisco values. Thank you for giving me that honor. Hi, it's Nancy.
San Francisco values. What are those exactly? And here's the moment. Biden awarding January 6th sham committee member Liz Cheney, the second highest civilian award in the U.S., the Presidential Citizens Medal.
Elizabeth L. Cheney, for putting the American people over party.
Joe Biden even know he's there? Oh my goodness, he looks totally out. I mean, if there's anything about this moment, this is the purest embodiment of the establishment right there. Joe Biden, President of the United States, senile Democrat, and then you have Liz Cheney, who represents the neocon establishment Republican. I mean, this tells you right there that they don't care about you, that they are one in the same. And she's getting awarded for it. We find out this too. Speaking of warmongers, Joe Biden and Jake Sullivan are considering bombing Iran right before President Trump takes office. Behezy tweets, President Trump takes office if Iran gets closer to making a nuke that will drag the United States into another endless war in the Middle East, and they want Trump to be too distracted dealing with such a war and not spend his time fixing our real problems. These people are genuinely evil. Biden and Jake Sullivan. Margorie Taylor Green, she's weighing in on this as well on Real America's Voice. Let's listen.
Now and
point of order in Congress. What's the first thing you guys are going to try to tackle and solve?
Well, we'll actually be passing some bills in between now and January 20th. We're going to be going heavy into border security, America First energy bills, and we will be looking at how to set up everything in place for President Trump to move in quickly. Here's some things we should be concerned about, though. We know that this terrorist attack yesterday, both of those attacks, mean that there could be more sleeper cells, and we hope and pray we don't see anything else happen in America. But also today, President Biden started talking about potentially launching an attack on Iran if Iran moves towards having any type of nuclear problem or nuclear program. But Brian, I have to tell you, it's absurd for President Biden to make those kind of threats right now, because 2 days after the election, it was the Biden administration that actually authorized the release of $10 billion to go to Iran through Iraq. So here's the same president that actually funded Iran, but yet he's going to threaten a nuclear attack or some sort of military attack on Iran if Iran moves towards a nuclear program. And this is the kind of garbage that the American people are sick of. We want to get to January 20th. We want to inaugurate our president, and we're ready to take this city over, take our country back, and accomplish the Make America Great Again agenda that we have all wanted so badly for these past 4 years.
They're doing everything they can to derail this presidency before it even begins. Axios reports that weeks ago, Biden and Sullivan at the State Department discussed plans to attack Iran before Trump is sworn in. They decided to tell us this the day after an apparent terror attack. They're trying to start war before Trump is inaugurated. This from Axios, The Scoop. Heartless or senile? Did you hear about this? While addressing the deadly terror attack, Biden says he can't wait to get this damn thing done so he can watch the Sugar Bowl.
And we're seeing that today. The Sugar Bowl is back on. Kickoff is going to take off very shortly. If I don't get this damn thing done, we're going to be in real trouble.
Wow. State Department quietly crafted plans to distribute staffers from its shuttered Global Engagement Center to a new internal hub coordinating the accused censorship office's activities, according to documents obtained by a D.C. Examiner. Yeah, you know that censorship? Yeah, they're just shuffling people around. They closed that whole bureaucratic entity that was censoring you online. This is all happening in the back before Trump takes office. So they're just moving things around. Censorship's going to continue from the State Department. And then this, Insurrection Barbie. Biden's about to write an executive order using a 72-year-old law, the Outer Continental Shelf Lands Act, to solidify protections that are notoriously difficult to reverse in order to permanently ban offshore oil and gas drilling before Trump takes office. They don't want us to be energy independent. They don't. Joe Biden is throwing a wrench into it all. And why? Because Donald Trump wants to drill, baby,
murders,
drill.
We're going to straighten it out. We're going to close our borders. We're going to drill, baby, drill. We're going to get the inflation down. And we are going to make our country greater than ever before. And we're going to do it quickly. We're going to do it quickly. It's going to go fast. We have to get the criminals out. We have many, many criminals that have entered our country. We have people coming in from such bad places, and we're going to have to get them out. We have murderers that are being deposited into our country. We have drug dealers at the biggest and highest levels that are coming into our country. We have people coming into our country that just shouldn't be here, but many, and I say many, large percentages, they come in through the caravans, they come in many different ways. Now we find out again, they come in through airplanes, we'll send them in. This is crazy. But they come into our country, we're going to stop them. We're going to close our borders. We're going to have to deport a lot of people, a lot of bad people, because our countries can't live like this. Our cities are choking to death. Our states are dying. And frankly, our country is dying. And we're going to make America great again, greater than ever before. Thank you very much. It's been a big night. Thank you very much. Thank you.
That's what they're afraid of. That's why they're trying to hamstring them so bad. Imagine that. Locking down, drilling, starting a war with Iran, distributing the censorship apparatus.
Gas to utility. My question is regarding the economy. Over the past 2 years, we have seen the prices for everything skyrocket. From food to gas to utilities and insurance costs, many people's bills are up several $100s a month, including mine. If elected president again, what is the first thing you would do to help bring down the cost to make things more affordable?
Drill, baby, drill.
Drill, baby, drill. He's now been elected. And then we have this from Steelers CA to PA. This treasonous administration is unbelievable. 4 straight years of Democrat radicals doing nothing but intentionally weakening and destroying our country. President Biden to permanently ban offshore drilling, to lock in difficult to revoke rules before Trump takes office. The Democrat Party hasn't delivered to the American people other than hate Trump rhetoric. They can't talk about promises made and kept. They can't talk about how they secured the border. They didn't. They made it wide open. I mean, I think this meme encapsulates it perfectly.
What we're seeing is that we are in a transition. We had this strong economic growth because of the work that this president has done in the past 18 months. And now what we're seeing is a transition into stable and steady growth. What we're seeing is that we are.
Yeah, that basically sums it up quite well. And let's see what else have we got here for you. Biden wants to go out with a bang. Mario in the fall, 7 hours ago. In his final weeks, Biden reportedly considered striking Iran's nuclear facilities if Tehran moves closer to building a bomb, because what's a better farewell than a potential new war? Some aides think that it's the perfect time since Iran's defenses and proxies are weakened. Others warn it might leave a global crisis gift wrap for the Trump administration. Meanwhile, Iran insists its nuclear program is just for civilian purposes, but intelligence paints a sketchier picture. Is Biden ready to gamble big on his way out? All coming from Axios News. Times of Israel also reporting Democrats are shamelessly doing everything. Paul Sipula, Democrats are shamelessly doing everything they can to start World War III before Trump is sworn in 18 days from now. War with Iran is just one of their insane ideas. Oh, thankfully, though, Joe Biden has ended his St. Croix vacation with Hunter Biden a couple days ago. Now he's headed for Delaware for a night off, then off to Camp David. The most useless president ever. However, Republican attorneys general are welcoming the Trump term, ready to reverse Biden-era policies. So hopefully they can get some traction there. And some good news, Trump is set to hold a victory rally at Capital One Arena in D.C. on January 19th, one day before his inauguration. And with all these terror attacks happening, I mean, the bomb threats, everything, I'm just like, bro, please, just go to Mar-a-Lago and lock yourself down and just hang out there, please. Please, President Trump, we don't need any more public exposure right now. We just got to get to Inauguration Day. Hell, even have have inauguration at Mar-a-Lago. Can you do that for us? I mean, this is just all too much. This is crazy. It just scares me. And then we have this here, Biden influencers spending a day 8 hours ago. Democrat influencers, including Olivia, Juliana, JoJo from Jers, and Harry Sisson. All the losers whose cringe lost them in a landslide, Cat Turd posting. So yeah, Joe Biden welcoming them all to the White House for a photo op. Liz Cheney getting her award. Fox News reports Biden set to ban oil and gas leases in Nevada as well for 20 years, just weeks before Trump's inauguration. Along with the offshore oil drilling ban. And then there was this moment where we had an oil refinery going up in flames. Right? So you're going to block drilling in Nevada, offshore drilling. We got a refinery on fire. Sky News reporting that. So this guy is just trying to tie this entire administration up in knots. Trump's got a lot to unwind on January 21st. Let's just pray we can get there. So look at the pattern, my friends. Medal ceremonies for traitors, plans to bomb Iran, permanent bans on American energy independence. This isn't just bad policy. It's a deliberate attempt to sabotage Trump's America First agenda before he can even take office. The question we need to ask ourselves is, how far will they go in these final days? Are we watching the deliberate acts of a failing regime or the calculated moves of a deep state determined to maintain control? Share your thoughts below. And don't forget to check out our MAGA Avengers collection at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. The gear is selling fast, so get yours while supplies last. Oh, my Lord. Okay, we got a super chat come through. This was from Keel for Real. Don't fall for the false flags. Lexa R. $20. Thank you, Lexa. Watch you often. Happy New Year to you and yours. Happy New Year to you. Mountain Goddess, $10. And she says, if it's confirmed by an honest specialist that Biden is mentally diminished, do you think any of his pardons will be valid? His executive orders? Well, somebody will have to untangle that mess as well. Viv B dropping 5 memberships, Next News Network memberships. And it looks like Elf, G.A. Bunny, Steph Ross, Chris Peacock, and Jonathan all received some New Year's gifts from Viv B. Thank you, Viv. Welcome to the club, guys. We're at $89.98 in super chats with 5 new members in the club. Okay, let's get to this next story here. All right. This is very troubling. Something unprecedented is happening in Washington right now. As we speak, the Biden administration is in emergency meetings, allegedly discussing the declaration of a state of emergency. Why? Well, they claim it's about the terror attacks, but we know better. With just 18 days until Trump's inauguration, they're laying the groundwork for something far more dangerous, martial law. The same people who called January 6th an insurrection are now preparing to use these attacks as justification for the ultimate power grab. Now, America's in pain right now, watching our republic being strangled by emergency powers and martial law threats. And speaking of pain, if you are one of the millions suffering from chronic discomfort, you need to hear this. Just as the deep state uses fear to control us, Big Pharma uses addictive painkillers to control you. But now there's Canalidine, the 100% drug-free solution that optimizes your body's natural pain-fighting system. While we fight for our freedom, fight your pain naturally. Visit tricano.com/NNN for a risk-free trial. Don't let pain control your life while we battle those trying to control our nation. Yes, it is going to be a wild next 18 days. If Biden tried to pull some kind of state emergency to retain power, he might have a real insurrection this time. Live from America TV, putting out this alarm just 8 hours ago, going viral. Need to bring this to your attention. He reports that Biden is currently in a meeting to decide whether or not to call a state of emergency, right on schedule. Listen to this.
There's talk about Good afternoon, everybody. Jeremy Harrell here, LFA TV. Coming to you with some pretty, I wouldn't say maybe concerning news. I mean, I guess it's how you look at it, but the Biden administration, probably not Biden himself, he doesn't know which way he's walking, but the Biden administration is actively holding a meeting right now to decide whether or not to declare a state of emergency over the terrorism that's happening here domestically. Specifically speaking to the New Orleans truck murder and the Cybertruck explosion. It seems to be like this is going to be a pattern, and a lot of things are going to continue here. Last night when Senator Kennedy was asked if this is going to continue to happen or if he has any information on whether or not more terrorist attacks are going to happen within the United States, he said, I can't answer that. He said, I could, but I won't. That lets me know that the intelligence that he has in the Senate, with the committees that he's on, says that, all signs point to yes, right? That there's going to be more terrorist attacks here in America in the next 18 days leading up to President Trump's inauguration. They would love everything they could, or they would love it as much as possible if they could somehow disrupt or muddy the waters for Donald Trump's ceremony for his inauguration. And declaring a state of emergency would be one step closer to martial law. Now, while declaring martial law doesn't prevent the transfer of power, it would still gum things up and make things very difficult for President Trump. And now there's talk about the ceremony of the inauguration being in D.C. There doesn't need to be a ceremony. It's not a law that there's a ceremonial, inauguration. And today on my show, we discussed possibly, instead of canceling the inauguration, because that's exactly what they would want for President Trump. They would want to cancel it. But maybe changing the venue. How about Mar-a-Lago? Mar-a-Lago was built, or at least sold to the government, and then, kind of rebuilt to be a Southern White House. And it's somewhat of a fortress of its own. And it's completely secure. It's in a red state. It's in Florida. And just not have millions of people show up to it. Just invited guests, televise the inauguration, do it from Mar-a-Lago. Don't even go to the swamp. Don't feed into it, because if you go to the swamp, here's what you're going to get. Yes, you're going to get the inauguration, but are we sure that there's not going to be some kind of a dirty bomb or some kind of a terrorist attack on the crowd there? We know there's going to be protesters and Antifada and Hamas and all that. They want to prevent Donald Trump from taking power any which way they can. They want to make it as bad as they possibly can. So it's a stain in history.
Yep.
So what say you in the comment thread? On Live from America today, myself and my audience said, change the venue, have the inauguration, have the ceremony at Mar-a-Lago, and get right to work. The other option is continue to have it in D.C. as planned and go with whatever happens, knowing that the Biden administration is literally in a meeting as we speak to call a state of emergency because of the terrorist attacks that they're basically allowing to happen anyway. Or option C, not do it at all. Roll up your sleeves. Who cares about a ceremony? And get your ass to work. Let us know. What do you think? Cancel it? Change the venue? And do it at Mar-a-Lago? Or don't do it at all and get to work? Let me know in the threads, and please do me a favor. Repost, reshare to your stories, and retruth or retweet. Whatever it is. Share the video, guys. God bless. Let me know in the comment thread. LFA TV.
We got you, brother. We got you. On the Next News Network, we are transmitting your message far and wide. I think it's a great idea. I know that Trump doesn't want to back down. Canceling the inauguration and not doing it in D.C., it is, of course, a point of pride to be able to stand there on the Capitol steps yet again, put your hand on the Bible in front of the nation with no fear. Going to Mar-a-Lago, of course, would be equally as beautiful, but it would also transmit a message that maybe he's not comfortable being in D.C. And we need the president to be comfortable in D.C. no matter what. But given the state of affairs right now, on day 2 of 2025, I don't know what to expect here. We got this from Border Czar Tom Homan. unleashing a scathing attack on Biden's catastrophic leadership failures, calling them an open invitation to terrorism.
States, and this is just another danger this country faces because this country's been lax on national security, and the groups like this been emboldened. Protesters walking down the streets in New York City carrying terrorist flags, chanting death to Israel and death to the United States, and nothing's being done about it. A border that was secure under President Trump, and this administration unsecured it on purpose. It's an open invitation for those around the world that hate this country. This is just another danger.
What else have we got here? Yeah, you see this? Another massive migrant caravan headed for the United States, a massive one. Here's video of it. This was posted by Proud Elephants US. Another I mean, they are rushing the border because they know it's about to get locked down. This is their last opportunity to come to the United States under a Biden regime before Trump kicks them all out. Elon Musk accusing the Biden administration of committing treason by intentionally opening the southern border wall. Treason is not a word you should just throw around. Elon Musk has a considerable amount of influence with his millions and millions of followers on X. And of course, he's been staying at Mar-a-Lago. Apparently, he's staying on site in a guest house, and he's been there since the election. This is what he said. End wokeness. He was quote tweeting end wokeness. This administration did not fail to secure the border. They deliberately opened it. It was treason, end wokeness says. 94 executive orders to open the border. Border wall sold off for $5 a piece. Razor wire fences forcibly removed. And Elon Musk quote tweeting 100% treason, he calls it. Elon Musk, man, not holding back. Remember this moment here? This is when they went ahead and used a forklift to open up that border. That's Joe Biden's doing right there. And here we have the border wall. Here's the listing if you want some border wall material for $5. Yeah, $5. That's how much it's going for. Thanks, Joe Biden. And then we have this. President-elect Trump is right about border security. And Jim Acosta, though, is frantic to deny reality. Acosta sneers, here he goes again. But he's the one peddling fake news. Enough with the spin, Jim. Trump's calling out the real threats. We posted this about 7 hours ago on our X account, going viral. Let's watch.
The Cybertruck. Let's talk about some other potential for chaos here. I mean, Donald Trump is posting misinformation about the deadly attack in New Orleans. We can show some.
Okay. Now, before we get into what Jim Acosta, okay. Trump, Jim Acosta is spreading straight up disinformation right there on CNN. Because Donald Trump is not connecting the dots as Jim Acosta is claiming. Listen carefully.
Let's talk about some other potential for chaos here. I mean, Donald Trump is posting misinformation about the deadly attack in New Orleans. We can show some of this on screen. He posted on Truth Social earlier this morning that it was somehow related to immigration, blaming open borders. But CNN is reporting the suspect in New Orleans is a Texas-born U.S. citizen. We were just mentioning earlier in this program that the person who rented the Cybertruck in Las Vegas was a member of the U.S. Special Forces. Neil, I mean, we're right back where we were in 2017, where Donald Trump, he takes misinformation, he takes false news from wherever, and he puts it out there, and it just confuses the hell out of everybody. What's the solution here? I mean, why can't he just stick to the facts?
Look, in this particular instance,
or wait for the facts to come in.
In this instance, if the reporting is correct and what we're hearing from law enforcement, the suspect in New Orleans was in fact an American citizen who served in the Army and was radicalized by ISIS. That said, we can't ignore the fact that from 2021 to 2024, there were 400 people on the terrorist watch list that were stopped at the border. And those are just the people that we stopped. So it is a real issue. And I think that's what President Trump does.
Yeah, but Neil,
he brings focus to these.
You might have people coming across the border, and yes,
on the
that
terrorist watch list.
Okay, that's obviously a problem. But if that is not the case in New Orleans, and that is not the case in Las Vegas, you can't bring it up. You can't bring it up.
I think
it's not connected.
What the president's objective is to bring attention to what he identifies as the problem. He believes that concerns about border and border security were vital to his winning election and wants to highlight those issues. And I think that is what he has chosen to do in this particular instance. I think, as we have seen for really the past decade, you don't necessarily take all his tweets literally. It's about the issue that he's trying to raise.
This is the same old scapegoating that we've seen. Like, this is nothing new, and this is disgusting of what we're seeing. Like, what happened in New Orleans is disgusting. We should talk about all the facts to make sure this could never happen again, but not put it on the backs of my grandparents or my parents who were immigrants, all immigrants being something that's bad. Immigrants are good. Immigrants are good for our economy. Having bad people stopped, I agree, is good as well. But we can't let misinformation. This is how you get more attacks like this, like somebody from Dallas, Texas, driving to a Walmart in El Paso and start shooting Mexicans because they think that Mexicans are invading the country. This is where something like this starts.
Yeah, I mean, Neil, this is a problem, and you were saying a few moments ago you can't take him literally. Why shouldn't you take the president of the United States literally? Isn't that sort of a baseline expectation that he should stick to the facts?
I think, look, in this particular instance, and I didn't see the exact language he used in the True Social post, I don't think he was saying that this individual crossed illegally, or if he was, it was based on initial reporting that was incorrect, that somebody had crossed
we can show
at
it up
Eagle
on screen
Pass.
again. I mean, he's talking about
But he has a valid
he's blaming Biden's open borders policy.
And again,
he's talking about that on True Social. I mean,
but does he tie it directly to this particular?
When I said that the criminals coming in are far worse than the criminals we have in our country, that statement was constantly refuted by Democrats and the fake news media, but it turned out to be true. Not in this case.
Not in this case.
What he is saying in that Truth Social post is false. That is false.
He's not saying that this individual crossed the border illegally, but there were 400 people on the terrorist watch list.
Of course, but when there's an act of terrorism in this country, the incoming president should tell the truth to the American people. I mean, that is just... Isn't that what the president should do at all times?
He's talking about securing the border, and he's been talking for years about securing the border, and he believes, and I think the data bears out that he won the election partially because
I mean, I just have to say, here he goes
border.
Again. He talks about everybody else being fake news, and he's the one peddling fake news. But Neil and Chuck,
he's the one peddling fake news. Jim Acosta is the king of fake news. Yes, and this was also posted by President Trump on Truth Social back in 18 days to be continued. And speaking of the next administration, I thought this was an interesting side note because I'm a big champion, a big cheerleader for Doge, the incoming group that's going to cut the fat. This group, Quiver Quantitative, they tagged Elon Musk and Doge in this. They have a new dashboard that tracks government payments to publicly traded companies. I thought this was really interesting because we'd never really seen this kind of technology applied before. But now, Quiver Quantitative is posting all of this. Look at all this money. I mean, let's see here. We've got Social Security Administration paid Imex Technology $13 million. Department of Energy paid Fluor Marine Propulsion $22 million. Department of Veterans Affairs paid Davol Incorporated $14,000. Department of Justice paid General Dynamics $2.7 million. General Services Administration paid General Dynamics another $2 million. Social Security paid Microsoft $1.8 million. I mean, this is an excellent tool, and I certainly hope that Elon Musk and Doge take a closer look at this. And now we have this open border. Muse posted this 13 hours ago. MSNBC finally admitting Joe Biden's open border policies have devastated America. I saw this chart, in which you'll notice what's really interesting is that at the end, if you see the bottom there in the corner, 2024, you'll notice a dip. And that's when they started the campaigning. That's around the time that we saw Kamala Harris suddenly saying, yeah, we're going to lock down the border. And she was like a big now. She was suddenly the border czar, right? So you see people starting to listen. I don't know if this was the drop there was a result of Kamala Harris saying it, or if they were afraid because they knew Donald Trump was coming. I'm not sure. But here's MSNBC.
So, Steve, let's turn to your second chart where you highlight how the border and climate change were major issues in the year that was.
The border, yes, that's exactly right, of course, Jonathan. The border was not Biden's finest moment, frankly. You can see what happened here. And Trump is not wrong when he talks about how border crossings were quite low. They were running about 74,000 a month when he left office. And they, in fact, did shoot up. Some of it was some things Biden said and some ways that they put a moratorium, for example, on deportations. But, in fact, we did get up here almost to 300,000 a month. But what maybe people don't entirely know is that border crossings have come back down almost to where they were under Trump. They're running at about 100,000 at the moment. So we went up the hill and we went down the hill, but unfortunately that was pretty costly to buy.
So, Steve, let's turn to your...
Unfortunately, that was pretty costly. So, yes, it's going to be a wild next 18 days. What do you guys think about this, though, huh? What about this inauguration? This state of emergency call. But then we got this, Judge Cheney destroying liberal Jessica Tarlov on the 5 today. Let's listen.
A huge change in the amount of people that are getting into this country and the number of deportations. So we now have the lowest number of border crossings that we've had in 4 years. Going back
but they're flying them in. Why cross the border if you get a free flight?
It's not true. And we've removed 700,000 that they're just flying them in without background checks.
Wait a minute. You think they're flying them in and they do background checks on them?
Yes, I do think that you get a background.
From where? From Chile? From
when you
Venezuela?
Look at what's going on with Mexico and Central America and the amount of cooperation that's been going on right now with the
executive. Are you telling me that Haiti, Guatemala, Venezuela are giving us background checks?
You're telling me that in the last year where we've gotten out over 700,000 people, which is the most that we have deported since the year 2010, that we have the lowest number of border crossings, that we have record seizures of drugs that are supposed to be coming across the border, that this is a wide open border.
So then why did Biden lose if he's so great?
It was too little too late in addressing this problem. But when you say...
Too little too late. This guy, Agent X, though, he wasn't having any of it.
Can be. For her take to say that, how is this heifer on TV? Judge Janine just absolutely destroyed her. Like, I don't understand how dumb people can be. For her take to say that we're actually getting good background checks from illegal aliens coming across the border is absolutely absurd. Judge Janine actually destroys her. Jessica Tarlov needs to go. She does not belong on TV at all.
Oh, yes, 18 days, friends. The world's going to change. Let's hope we can get there. Now, the evidence is mounting: emergency powers, potential martial law, discussions of moving the inauguration. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. Some are suggesting Mar-a-Lago is an alternative inauguration site, a fortress in a red state. But here is what we really need to ask. Is the deep state creating chaos to justify an emergency power grab? Are these terror attacks just an event to prevent Trump's return? What do you think they're planning? Let us know in the comments and show your resistance with our new MAGA Avengers collection at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Our gear is perfect for these uncertain times. All right, Al Cersei, $19.99. We're now at $119.97 in Super Chats. She says, oh boy, I agree. Trump needs to be showman in from undisclosed locations. Liquid Ferret, $10. Thank you. Mar-a-Lago's the best option right now. Trump should hold the inauguration there. It's a safe place, but Trump will not bend over to the deep state. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see about that. All right. Let's keep going. Got some more news here. Let's see here. All right. Tonight, we're witnessing a war for control of Congress that could make or break Trump's first 100 days. Mike Johnson, Trump's endorsed candidate for Speaker, is facing fierce resistance, and not from just the usual suspects. Even with Trump's backing, the votes are not locked in. Margorie Taylor Green is rallying support, but others like Chip Roy are threatening to block Johnson's path. This isn't just about a leadership position. It's about who controls Congress when Trump returns to power. And while Congress battles over leadership, America's food supply faces its own crisis of authority. Just as we need unity in the House, we need unity in protecting our natural food chain. The collapse of bee populations threaten our very survival. It's a deep state's dream come true. That's why Patriot Bee Best is leading the charge to save America's bees and our food independence. For less than 17 cents a day, you can join the fight. Visit patriotbeebest.com and use code NEXTNEWS for 25% off your monthly subscription. Don't wait until our shelves are empty. Join the hive of patriots who are protecting America's future. Okay, let's get into this. An interesting set of news in this segment. Congressman Michael Cloud, he says that there are concerns that a delay in electing a speaker could lead to a brief delay in enacting President Trump's agenda. This is a legitimate concern that I share. The other option on the table is maintaining the status quo, which will undoubtedly fail Trump's agenda. I am working to help find a third option, which is structural changes that are needed in how the House operates in order to swiftly enact Trump's agenda, not interfere or delay it. We must ensure the House is structured to enact an America First agenda in a way that has permanence. Congressman Michael Cloud. Of course, Donald Trump endorsed Mike Johnson ahead of the speaker vote. And Steve Bannon, 7 hours ago, Trump ally Steve Bannon says Speaker Mike Johnson has to go. The minions under the MAGA circus tent spend more time fighting each other than actually governing. This is a quote from America's Bridge 21st Century. Let's hear what Steve Bannon is saying about Speaker Johnson.
Then, hey, I'll take Johnson. He's got to go. He's got to go. And people are sitting there where President Trump supports him. Well, hey, President Trump supports him until he doesn't support him. President Trump supports him until he doesn't support him. If somebody's got to show some leadership here, then, hey, I'll take it. I'll take that one. In the Navy, you don't volunteer, but you got to do it. You got to do it. Somebody's got to do this.
Chip Roy is threatening to obstruct Mike Johnson becoming Speaker. Paul Zappala says this is wrong. Johnson has been a disappointment, but Trump is right to endorse him. Republicans don't have a big enough majority to elect someone who's more MAGA. Look to the midterms. This is what he said on Fox.
A number of my colleagues.
Is Mr. Johnson going to have the support to keep his role as Speaker? What do you think?
Well, good morning, Ashley, and Happy New Year to all the listeners and viewers out there.
Same to you.
Look, Victoria's a good friend, and Thomas is a good friend, and they raise reasonable concern. I remain undecided, as do a number of my colleagues, because we saw so many of the failures last year that we are concerned about that might limit or inhibit our ability to advance the president's agenda. I respect, like Thomas, that President Trump supports Mike. I like Mike. He's a good friend. But let's consider what happened the week before Christmas. We violated the 72-hour rule twice, which means we didn't have time to read a bill. We had to have Elon and Vivek and the president and JD come in to kill a 1,500-page monstrosity to cut it down to 100 pages. It still spent $110 billion unpaid for. And do my colleagues say, oh, but that's all just discretionary spending? We also passed $200 billion that is taking money out of Social Security to transfer it, which will hasten the bankruptcy of Social Security by 6 months. That was all the week before Christmas, Ashley. That's a problem. That's not how we should do business. We racked up $300 billion of additional deficit spending after the election. We spent $1.7 trillion last year with more Democrat votes than Republican votes. We gave another $61 billion to Ukraine. My friend Victoria, she's from Ukraine. She has a heart for the Ukrainians. But she understands giving $61 billion to Ukraine after Mike Johnson promised to secure the border first, that's a problem. So we need to have a plan before January 3rd. The speaker needs to speak to it if he wants to have all of our support.
Yeah, and I have to follow up at this point, Congressman. Does he have that support or not?
Yeah, right now I don't believe that he has the votes on Friday, and I think we need to have the conference get together so that we can get united. And people say, well, Chip, who would you choose otherwise? There are a lot of great members of Congress. Mike's a friend, and maybe he can answer the call and he can deliver an agenda and a plan. Byron Donalds is a good man and a good friend. I supported him. I nominated him 2 years ago. Jim Jordan's a good man and a good friend. There are other members of leadership in the conference who could do the job. But what we need to do is unite around a plan to deliver for the president. Right now, I do not believe the conference has that. The failure before Christmas, I cannot overstate, is a glimpse to come if we don't organize the conference to be able to deliver for the American people. We are not going to be able to bend on the things that matter. We must cut spending if you want inflation to go down and for people to afford to live in this country. We have to secure the border. We can't be going back and forth on that. We have to give the tools, Tom Homan, the president, Stephen Miller, to secure the border. And we've got to have the plans in place by Friday.
Wow. Margorie Taylor Green, here's what she had to say.
President. Good evening, everyone. Tomorrow we convene at noon in the House of Representatives, and our first order of business will be to vote for Speaker of the House. This is a historic vote, and it is the first order of business that we have to accomplish before we can even swear in as members of Congress. Now, here's how I feel about it. You all have seen me disagree with Mike Johnson at times. You've seen me fight against him at times. But you want to know something else? Here's what I recognize. For the past 4 years, all of you, and myself included, have put blood, sweat, and tears into electing President Trump. And when you want to talk about blood, President Trump himself actually was the one that shed blood after an assassin shot him in the face. Here's what I know. All of you are sick and tired and fed up out of the drama and all of the garbage that comes out of Washington, D.C. And after 2 terrorist attacks on our nation where innocent people were killed, and after 4 years of unbelievably horrific government policies, and now that we're in $36 trillion in debt, all of you at home, and myself included, are ready for the drama to end. Well, here's what I'm asking my colleagues to do. Let's put aside our pride, let's put aside our egos, and let's put aside the infighting. It's time to come together as Republicans, and it's time to do whatever it takes to make sure that we deliver the mandate that the American people told us to do. And that's why I'm excited tomorrow. I cannot wait to get started. I'll be voting for Mike Johnson. I will be looking ahead in complete hopefulness and working as hard as possible. You see, we're going to elect a speaker, and then we're going to swear in as members of Congress. And then on Monday, we're going to certify the most historic election in our nation's history when we certify Donald John Trump's election as 47th President of the United States. We're going to spend a few weeks getting to work, working hard on preparing for his agenda. And then on January 20th, we're going to inaugurate Donald John Trump as the 47th President of the United States. Now, it's 18 long days until we get to that important day. And while all of us are praying and many of us are scared after what we've seen, and many of us are unsure if we'll be even able to get there and see President Trump go back in the White House, I'm going to tell you this. I'm giving it my all, and I can't wait to get started tomorrow. All right, we'll see you there.
So there's Margorie Taylor Green's take on this whole thing. And we've also got this. Reports are circulating. This was 7 hours ago. Mike Johnson does not have the votes to remain House Speaker. They asked him why he's not getting the votes. He says, well, I think it's going to go well.
Speaker Johnson, why are there still undecideds before this election, one day before the election? Why are there still undecideds?
People are talking through process changes they want and those kinds of things, and I'm open to that. And I think tomorrow's going to go well.
What's your message to the undecided, Mr. Speaker?
I think tomorrow's going to go well. CPAC posting this 7 hours ago. Key vote alert. CPAC for Speaker of the House, U.S. Representative. CPAC urges a vote in support of Speaker Mike Johnson and will strongly consider scoring the vote on CPAC Foundation's 45th edition of the Ratings of Congress. Eric Darty posting this 6 hours ago. Mike Johnson has a 91% chance of being elected Speaker tomorrow. Polymarket. followed by Tom Elmer, Jim Jordan, Steve Scalise, Hakeem Jeffries, Byron Donalds, and Thomas Massey. And there's the question. Mike Johnson has a 91% on the betting markets. Here's what Trump had to say. This was published, I believe this was his New Year's Eve message about Speaker Johnson.
He's the Mr. President, Mr. President.
Republicans who are still not supporting Speaker Johnson.
Say what?
What's your message to those Republicans who are still not supporting Speaker Johnson?
Oh, I think they'll support Speaker Johnson. I think we're going to have a great time in Washington, and I think we're going to get great support. He's the one that can win right now. People like him. Almost everybody likes him. Others are very good too, but they have 30 or 40 people that don't like him, so that's pretty tough.
Are you calling members on his behalf? Are you lobbying members?
Well, if necessary, but I think really we're going to have a great time. We're going to get a successful vote. He's a good man. He's a wonderful person, and that's what you need.
Why'd you change your
Mr. President, Mr. President.
I know exactly where he's standing. I've actually stood right there. How cool is that? What else have we got on this front? Here is David Harris Jr. says this is spot on. If President Trump trusts Mike Johnson as Speaker of the House, there should be no infighting about it. The most important thing now is to stand together and realize that we are stronger together than we are divided. Let's listen here. CNN.
The president won the election. Why do we need to think about having to survive something when we have an obvious option here? Mike Johnson has done a good job. Look, anytime the numbers are this close, it's going to be a very difficult job. And there are things that aren't going to go smoothly every single time. And we just have to accept that. Johnson's done a good job. The president trusts him. The president won the election, and a lot of Republicans won because of Donald Trump and the agenda he put forward. So what Donald Trump is saying is, get me a speaker that I trust and that I can work with so we can begin to pass my agenda. That ought to be a good enough reason for any member of the House Republican Conference. We got a very closely divided House. The only way to move anything forward here is to have teamwork, to stick together. Republicans need to start that process with the Speaker's vote. Why do we?
So we have this. Mike Johnson currently doesn't have enough votes. MSN is reporting Mike Johnson doesn't have the votes to remain Speaker. Kalshi, another betting market, says he still has an 89% chance since he is Trump endorsed. Will spineless Speaker Johnson keep the gavel? Gunther Eagleman says. Rand Paul had this to say a day ago as Congress debates re-electing the accidental Speaker Mike Johnson. Conservatives across the country should remember Speaker Mike cast a deciding vote to allow a secret court, FISA, to search American records without a warrant and to send $60 billion to Ukraine. Rand Paul calls him pathetic. President Trump endorsing Mike Johnson to be Speaker. Donald Trump's the leader who will decide on the agenda, not Mike Johnson. What President Trump needs is a Speaker who will follow. So the division is clear. He doesn't have the votes, but I'm pretty sure he's going to get it, regardless of the infighting. So the battle lines are drawn. Johnson's supporters say we need stability for Trump's agenda, while critics argue he's not MAGA enough. But here's what everybody's missing. This fight isn't just about Johnson. It's about who controls Congress during the most critical transition in American history. The real question is, are we watching a genuine debate over leadership, or is this just another deep state attempt to undermine Trump's agenda before it begins? Share your thoughts below and show your support for unity with our MAGA Avengers collection at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Our limited edition gear is the perfect way to make your voice heard. All right. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. No super chats to speak of at the moment. $119.97. Are we gonna hit 100? Are we gonna hit 120 today? Can I go back to Angie and say, "Hey, honey, yeah, we hit $120." All right. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat room. The main chat room. Surely he learned from Pence, says Sharon. MTG folded on record. Patricia says, I don't like Johnson. Clown college graduates putting their final performance on before January 20th, says Barry. And a super chat just came through. Let's see what is being said here. I just saw it. Resto Guy, what's up? Pray America. Demons are rearing their ugly heads. Yeah, they are. $10. Thank you for that, Resto Guy. We are now at $129.97. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go back to the main chat room. Let's see what else you're saying. Okay, we got Gary for speaker. No, thank you. Fitch 9. Trump didn't want to go after Hillary, so he's going to have to make that up with the Johnson vote. Pure Blood Crusader. Notice he prayed one time on the floor first day to gain everyone's trust. He's done that again after that. Linda says, wasn't this coordinated surveillance installed at the end of Obama's reign? I'm not sure which coordinated surveillance you're speaking of. Patricia says, you didn't finish reading my comment. Which comment, Patricia? Did I miss your comment? Was it a super chat? Let's see here. This computer's getting really laggy here. So, Patricia, I'm not seeing a super chat here from you. So it must have been in the main chat. There's so many people chatting, it's hard to get to everybody, especially when this computer's so laggy. Donald J. Trump, huge mistake. Overeducated Mike and Big Mike should... Oh, God. Ursa Major never trusted Mike Johnson. Gary organize what? Gary for press secretary? No, thank you. I don't want that job. Let's see. I just saw something else in here. Gary, organize your militia. Gary's guerrillas. That's funny. Ides of March. Nikona. God is watching you, Mike. God is watching you. All right, Brian, bring up the triple box here. I think I can do it from my end. I think. Here, let me see if I can. Where is that? There it is, Brian. Thank you. Let's see what the latest is going on here on X right now. Scrolling all the way to the top. Yeah, wasn't this crazy? FBI grants a yoga pants-clad hack from Ultra New York Post an exclusive tour. Like, this was so crazy to see this woman walking through a crime scene. Tom Homan has his work cut out for him. Uh-oh. Wait, something's wrong with this computer. It's so laggy. I think I just need to refresh this browser, Brian, 1 second. Tom Homan has his work cut out for him. I want all illegals deported personally. This is I Am Ken. J20 cannot come quick enough. The importance of swiftly confirming President-elect Donald Trump's national security nominees is taken on new gravity in the aftermath of the terrorism on New Year's Day. Terror attacks in New Orleans, Las Vegas underscore urgency for Senate confirming Trump's national security nominees. The FBI said there was nothing to definitively link them together. Is that right? Oh, there's quite a few connections. We must pay attention. CIA whistleblower Kevin Shipp reveals CIA's active hostility towards Christians during this year's at the agency, and he explains why. Not sure who that is. Oh, we have this. FBI has finally released new footage of the suspect allegedly responsible for planting pipe bombs outside the DNC headquarters on January 5th. What took him so long? Here's video of Trump coming into the ballroom while Hail to the Chief is playing. Gotta love it. All right. Okay. Whew, what a show tonight. Guys, I love you so much. Thank you for joining us tonight. Checking in one more time with the chat. Get Trump nominated. We can deal with Mikey later, says Lucky and Grateful. Early on, the Dems said they were going to keep Trump from being installed. Can you imagine? It's this administration allowing this to happen. We're doing this to ourselves. But the golden age is upon us. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, what we've witnessed tonight isn't just news, it's a warning. Let's recap what we've uncovered. 2 coordinated terror attacks that the FBI wants you to believe are unconnected, despite both attackers serving at Fort Bragg. A mysterious White House video signaling the return of mask mandates and lockdown, just as Fauci and his crew resurfaced with warnings about bird flu. Biden's team plotting to bomb Iran and permanently destroy our energy independence before Trump takes office. Emergency powers being discussed in secret meetings, and a speaker fight that could derail Trump's entire agenda. These aren't isolated events, they're pieces of a puzzle that paint a disturbing picture of the next 18 days. The deep state is making its final move, but they didn't count on one thing: you. Your engagement and your support, your determination to spread the truth is what keeps us all going. So tonight we've had your incredible support through your super chats, $129.97, almost $130, just 3 pennies shy. I want to thank everyone who contributed. Your messages aren't just comments, they are proof that Americans are awake and are fighting back. But our fight isn't over. If you want to give privately, you can. Help us keep exposing the truth. If you believe in what we're doing, if you understand the importance of independent media in these critical times, consider supporting us. The links to donate are in the description. Whether through Give, Send, Go, or PayPal, every dollar helps us keep fighting. And don't forget to check out our merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Our new MAGA Avengers collection is more than just clothing. It's a statement and tells the world you stand for truth and that you won't back down, and you're part of a movement to save America. Remember to tell your friends about the Next News Network, share our streams, follow us on Rumble and X, and join our channel membership program for exclusive content and perks. The more we grow, the harder it becomes for them to silence us. Tomorrow we'll be back with more explosive revelations. The next 18 days will determine America's future, and you need to be prepared for what's coming. Stay vigilant, stay united, and stay tuned to the Next News Network. This is Gary Franchi reminding you that the truth can't be silenced, and we'll never stop fighting to bring it to you. God bless you. God bless Donald Trump. God bless America. We'll see you tomorrow on the Raw feed. Happy New Year.